Okay, now that we've set up our development environment the way we want, the first thing we should talk about is where do you include your JavaScript code? Where do you write it? Well, there's essentially a couple of places where you could do that. The first one is you could have a script tag inside the head section. So we could write script, if I could type right now, script, and we could say type equals text JavaScript. Now, the type is technically not required, so if you wanted to, you could basically just avoid it altogether and just have script. And here's our script right now. So this, between the opening script and the closing script tags, you can now write your JavaScript. Another place where you could do that is an external file. So an external file also starts with a script, except it has a source attribute where you could specify an external file. And in this case, it will be script.js because our script is sitting inside JS script.js. Now notice that whenever you include an external JavaScript file, you still have to provide the closing script tag. A script tag is one of those tags that always requires a closing script tag, whether or not there is actually body within the script tag or not. Now, just like CSS and HTML, JavaScript code is executed sequentially. So it means whatever is inside of this script.js file is going to get executed first, and whatever is inside this script tag is going to get executed second. So let's go ahead and try that out. Let's put JavaScript or script.js. Let's declare a variable. We'll talk about declaration variables in a minute, but for now, let's just declare a simple variable. It's going to be a string, and it's going to say hello world. So we'll save that. We'll go to our HTML, and inside the script, we'll go ahead and say console.log. And console.log is something that we're going to be using a lot. And basically, that is a function that's available on every single browser except some really old Internet Explorer browsers, where it will log whatever it is you write in between these parentheses. It will log that to our console right here. So let's go ahead and log our X, since we declared X. And now that I saved the file, our browser sync went ahead and synced the code with the browser, and it immediately said, hello world. Well, where did this X come from? Well, the X came from script. Since inside script I already defined this X, I am certainly very much welcome to use it outside of it, obviously after it has been defined. And the value hello world is obviously coming into this X because it has been defined already inside the script.js. It's also important to remember that the JavaScript engine inside the browser is a single-threaded engine, which means that as the code in your JavaScript executes, it will execute completely without being interrupted by any other JavaScript code from somewhere outside. So it is not a multi-threaded environment, it's a single-threaded environment. And also, as you could see already, it's a sequential execution, which means JavaScript would execute line by line without jumping and inserting other lines of code from other places. Now, the head section is not the only section where I could define JavaScript. I could define JavaScript in a very similar manner that I defined it in the head. I could define that JavaScript in the body as well. So for example, right before body ends, I could say script and close the script tag, and I can have some code right here. So in this case, we'll say console.log, and we'll say right before body closing tag, given an exclamation point. If I save it now, you'll see that hello world gets executed first, since this is what gets triggered first in the sequential execution of the code. And then you see right before body closing tag message, and that gets executed over here at the end, since it's coming after the other JavaScript code. Likewise, I could really take this entire construct, go ahead and cut it, and paste it right here, right at the end, and it will still have exactly the same effect as before, at least in this case. And if I save it, you'll see that I say hello world, because I can include a JavaScript file right in the middle of the body of the HTML page as well. So to summarize, there's a few places where you could actually write your JavaScript code. You could write it inside the head tag, inside the script tag. You could write it outside of the head tag, inside the script tag. Or again, inside or outside of the head tag, you could include a JavaScript file, the effect of which will be as if you're cutting and pasting the contents of that file right into the place where you declare it inside your HTML page.